All right, so in this quick lesson, I am going to talk about some growth best practices before we actually get into any of the growth strategies. So, understanding how to grow is important because these are some of the mistakes that you want to avoid. You want to avoid growing the wrong followers because you're using the wrong messaging. And you want to avoid growing in the wrong places, and you want to avoid not understanding the growth strategy that you're using completely, or not growing with the right strategy that works best for you. Okay, so let's break them down so you understand them a little bit more, and most importantly, how to fix them. All right, growing the wrong followers because you're using the wrong messaging. When you promote, however you're promoting to grow, you got to make sure that you're clear with your marketing message. All right, because you want to make sure you're attracting the right followers, not just everyone under the sun. Okay, because this is how you're going to prevent yourself from growing a bunch of followers that don't convert, right? Growing a bunch of competitors, or just honestly the complete wrong audience. And then you're wondering why you're not getting engagement because the content doesn't resonate with them. And then, of course, you're not going to get sales. So, just a quick little thing. Marketing versus selling. Marketing is the attraction. It's what brings your audience in. It's what builds it builds your audience. It brings awareness to your brand. It brings awareness to your campaigns. Okay? Sales is the act of closing and converting and turning them into a customer. Okay, so when you're growing, essentially you are marketing. So you want to make sure that your messaging is correct because you want to grow the right audience. Just like you would grow your email list or your Facebook group or TikTok or any other social platform, right? You want to make sure you're growing the right people, and that starts with the message that you use. Okay, so if you look at this little example here, you could have a message that says calling all online coaches versus calling all high ticket female coaches, if that's exactly who you market to. Because all online coaches could be people that have tiny offers, and someone that has a tiny offer versus someone who is high ticket is two different worlds. Someone who considers themselves a coach, but they don't have a coaching program, they just do online courses, is different from someone who's doing a coaching program, right? So you want high ticket because you don't want everyone that just is an online coach. And if you specifically work with female entrepreneurs, you want high ticket female coaches. So this way, people that fall into that category specifically will resonate with what you say, will resonate with your content, and will resonate with that message, and you'll pull them into your funnel versus everybody and trying to filter them out later, okay? We're going to have quantity. We're going to grow a lot of followers, but you always want to make sure that it's quality as well. So the next thing is growing in the wrong places, okay? Where you promote to grow is key. So wherever you're putting this marketing message, wherever you're, whatever method you're using to grow, where you're actually doing it is key, right? You don't want to just use any influencer just because this influencer has great engagement, because if it's not your audience, that doesn't work, right? You don't want to just do any brand collab because if they don't have your audience, it's not going to work. So ask yourself, is this where my audience is? Before you do a giveaway collab with someone, before you use an influencer, before you promote in a Facebook group, before you pay for a shout out in a podcast or a YouTube video or a blog, is this where your audience is? So understanding your buyer and where they hang out will give you a good idea on where to promote your brand and Instagram page. That's why the buyer persona lesson is important, because there is a section that asks your buyers, where do they go to get information? What are their favorite Instagram pages? Where do they go to hang out? That is why that information is there. Even down to what are your favorite influencers? So then you can go and check those influencers out, find similar ones, right? And keep that relatable to your buyer, but also it's a great place to choose to promote should you decide to do Instagram growth. Okay? And if you don't have the answers to that section of the buyer persona lesson for your workbook, then survey your audience. Ask them in a sticker poll, on your Insta story. Ask your email list. Go into Facebook groups and ask, for market research and find those answers. Interview someone that is your ideal customer. Interview a past customer, okay? Get that information because it's going to help you when you do these targeted growth strategies. Okay, so do they, watch certain YouTube videos? Do they listen to certain podcasts, right? Because then maybe you can find the influencer and do a collab, branded influencer collab with that individual, right? To promote your page. And what specific Facebook group are they in? More than likely, you can definitely find your audience in Facebook groups. There's over 650 million Facebook groups based on interest. So you'll be able to actually find your audience inside of the Facebook group. But most importantly, you don't want to just do any Facebook group, right? Which one actually has your ideal audience inside of it, okay? So you're going to really be able to find that information from breaking down your buyer persona workbook. All right, so the last mistake, not understanding the strategy completely. So not understanding the growth strategy that you're using and not growing with the right strategy that works best for you, okay? No matter what you're doing, whether it's growing or making sales or engagement or, any part of your business, you have to understand the strategy that you're using. What are the steps that you have to take? How do you actually track your success and your progress? How do you optimize it so that you make it better, right? So that you're getting more efficient, more conversions, more time. And how do you troubleshoot it should something happen and you need to figure out why it's not working, right? So you can't just do something aimlessly and then say that it doesn't work, right? That's a lot. That's the energy I see in a lot of people when they're creating strategies, is that they don't really understand what they're doing. They try it and they're like, it doesn't work. Most good strategies have steps, have things that you can measure, have things that you can track, have things that you can troubleshoot so that you can go through and make it work for you. If you're getting started, ideally, yeah, you would love to have the strategy work out of the gate. But if it doesn't, that's your ability to learn, to troubleshoot, to learn, to figure that strategy out to make it work specifically for you. Okay, that's the attitude that you want to have when you're implementing any strategy, is testing, right? You don't want to just give up the first few times and claim it doesn't work, right? And worst case scenario, if you can't figure it out, do some more research or ask questions, ask for help. Okay? And lastly, just because something works for someone else doesn't mean you have to do it too if it's not the right fit. Okay? And the right fit could be not a good fit for your brand, not a good fit for you wherever you are financially. It could not be a good fit for your personality. Maybe one day I may jump on creating reels. Currently, as it stands, I've tried it and it just doesn't feel, for me personally, a good use of my time, although I see the massive value in it and I think that it's an amazing resource. But right now, it's just not a good fit for me. Right? Using influencers right now is not a good fit for me. Okay? Paying for shout outs right now is not a good fit for me. Should that change in the future? Sure. But right now I'm focusing on what works for me where I am at currently in my business. Okay? So you want to make sure that you understand the strategy and you give the strategy a real effort, and then make sure you find something that works best for you. Okay? All right, so let's end with some hot tips. Okay, so one of my favorite things to do, especially when, I like to have my cake and eat it too. I like to do multiple things at one thing and get multiple results. So try using reverse organic. Basically, you're organically growing your social media, but instead of promoting to drive them directly to your Instagram page to follow or whatever social you want to promote, because this works for anything, you are actually enticing them with some type of freebie, and then the secondary action after they join your freebie, especially if your freebie has a lot of value, is to then follow your socials. Okay, so reverse organic is amazing because it's going to grow your leads, your emails, and your followers all at the same time. So essentially you would promote your lead magnet, and then you would include a call to action to follow you on IG on your thank you page. So when someone signs up and it's like, hey, check your inbox to get your freebie, or here's your download for your freebie, or your call has been booked, right? Your appointment has been booked for my service-based business or high ticket people, or thank you for your purchase, or thank you for submitting, your email for 10% off or something like that. Put it on your thank you page, a call to action to follow you. Put it inside your actual lead magnet as well, okay, at the end of it, right? Or in your About Me section if that's something that you include. And in the email that sends out your lead magnet, so the email that sends out the download, the email that confirms the appointment booking, whatever, the email that sends out the discount coupon, whatever it is, okay? So this is an amazing way, because then a lot of people end up following you. I've noticed this, especially when I promote a lead magnet that just goes viral, and then I start to see followers come in, whether it be to my Facebook group or my Instagram page or wherever it is I'm promoting. Okay. Also include a call to action to follow you on IG on all of your major customer touch points. So your email footers and your customer service emails, your website footer, About Me section, blog section, invoices, packing slips, package inserts. Maybe you can have a little postcard inside your packages for my e-commerce brands. Maybe on your packing tape, all of your thank you pages, not just for your lead magnets, but for your purchases as well. Storefront, if you have a storefront, or if you're a restaurant, put a window sticker on there, right? And at the checkout, put a call to action to follow for more discounts, right? You can use QR codes. You can even make a QR code sticker for your window storefront. And QR codes are amazing because you can put that on a business card. Instead of saying follow my Instagram, you can put your QR code on the back of your on your business card, and all the person has to do is take a photo of it. And if they have the QR feature turned on, it'll automatically pop open your Instagram versus them typing it. And it's just also a fun, cool experience. So that's definitely a way for anyone who does in-person events or trade shows to really stand out on their business card. So these are amazing places that you never know. Someone might be looking at it and they're like, wow, I've just really had such a great experience with your brand. And you tell them, right? We tell our followers what we want them to do, and finding different places on which we can get them to organically follow us and just kind of see that message everywhere, follow, then eventually they're going to convert. And some places, sometimes they might just not know that you're on Instagram, or they might not have that interest to seek it out until all of a sudden they see it on your packing tape and you're like, oh, hey, I want to follow. Okay. So to scale your growth, here are some of the important growth call to actions that you want to use in, your content, your lead magnets, wherever. Okay. So of course you want to have the follow at your username, for more XYZ. So let's just say that you have a lead magnet and you're like, follow us here if you want more tips, right? If you have a quote post, follow us here. Follow me for more inspirational quotes, right? For more of this content. So you kind of just want to have an incentive to tell them what it is that, they're going to get by following you, right? More of what they've seen. Okay. Then share this to your story. So this is another way to grow. When they share it to their story, their followers may see it. And so it's exposing you to new potential eyes. And if then that person that sees that story clicks it, then they come and check out your profile and it resonates. That's an amazing way to grow followers. So shares to stories from the people that follow you helps your growth. So that's why you want a lot of shares. Okay. Another share that's important is if they share it to the DMs to their friends. Okay. How many times have you received, a random post from your friend and you're like, oh, this is good. And then you click it and then you're like, oh my God, I like this profile. I literally do it all the time. Like my friends send me some really awesome posts. I'm like, okay, that post really hits. And then I go and look, I'm like, oh, I love this page. And then I follow. So that's happening all the time. So you definitely want these shares because it's exposing you to a target audience. It's a high level user that saw your content and chose to follow you based off of that. There wasn't any incentive behind the fact that you just resonated with them. Okay. And lastly is tag a friend. So tag a friend in the comments, share this with a friend in the comments. This is essentially the same as sharing because, if so the person that's tagged comes and sees the post, they read it, they like it, they go check out the rest of your profile, they may follow. But it also has a double whammy because it boosts your engagement too on that actual post and shows, social proof, right? To like have a lot of comments on there that pushes that post higher up the feed. So it maybe potentially may push it then to the hashtag if you trend in the hashtags or to the explore page. So it definitely, you definitely want to include that from time to time. Okay. So here are some reasons why your content isn't getting shared and you're not growing. And most importantly, how to fix it. So self-serving content, having a lot of self-serving content that's not valuable enough. Okay, unless you are an influencer and they expect to just see you all the time, then you have to focus on serving your audience and creating conscious content that actually adds value to their life. Okay, so what does that mean? So we already know that it's all about the customer. It's all about moving them away from pain to pleasure and providing them value and articulating how your offer, your business is the solution to their problems, is the solution to get to their desires. Okay, so if your content is all about you and how your brand and your business is great and it doesn't really tell anything to the customer about how their life's going to change, it's not going to resonate. So people aren't going to really follow, or they're going to unfollow. And then creating conscious content. Like think about the stuff that you're putting on Instagram. You don't want to put a bunch of junk food. You want to put things on there that really is going to shift or change someone's life. Okay, so thinking consciously, how can I add value? I don't want to just throw up junk of like, to each his own, but, World Star Fight videos, I don't really understand, what value do we get from watching people fight, right? Versus maybe spreading some kindness and watching those, just like what can you enhance and add value to people's life? What, not just in the sense of tips and tutorials, right? Even some of your fun, entertaining things that you share. What can you do that just really makes someone feel good? The more you can make people feel good and stay away from a lot of the things that are kind of like junk food content, right? That isn't really helpful, then that's another reason why people will stay and either, and not unfollow or just start to follow you in general. Another thing is poor cover for your slides or your videos. Okay, a lot of times when people post videos, they do not add a cover so that it's just a blank block. Okay, and then they have a lot of these blank blocks, so people are kind of like, what's going on? It's not intentional and the content isn't cohesive. Simply design a scroll stopping cover. Like if you don't have, usually with the videos, you can grab a screenshot and use that as the cover. But if you don't have a good one in the video, just go and design one, right? A little scroll stopping post of what the video is about, download that and load it up when you load in your video. And then if you're going to have a tutorial teaching someone something in a carousel or something like that, then of course you want to have a scroll stopping slide that talks about what it is they're going to learn, right, inside of that little carousel or mini tutorial. But when your covers are not, intentional or cohesive, that definitely, and people see that all the time, it's definitely either going to be a reason why they don't follow or they unfollow. Okay. Another thing is just simply not asking for the share or follow. Always tell your audience what you want them to do. Very simple. Sometimes they just don't know. Sometimes people don't know you can turn on post notifications. So just letting them know will help them take action. Okay. And lastly, your content isn't intentional, so it doesn't resonate. Okay, so this kind of plays a little bit into the self-serving content. Again, you just want to make sure there's some sort of cohesion, right? That's why we have the content pillars. That's why we have the content strategy, so that there's focus. But if you're just posting randomly, willy-nilly, people will feel that. They will sense that. They will be like, this page is all over the place and it doesn't really make any sense. Okay? That's why cohesion is key. It doesn't have to be like super, super, super like niche specific, but it's just like they know what to expect. Like I'm not going to just start posting dog videos and turn it into a Yorkie page, because then people are like, I didn't come here for that. I came here to learn about Instagram, to be motivated, to be inspired, to get business tips and hacks, right? And talk about mindset. I didn't come here to talk about fitness or Yorkies or vegan food. Do you know what I'm saying? So cohesion. Okay, like I said, unless you're an influencer and you can just do whatever you want, we're doing this for business. All right, and so my final words on this. When it comes to growth, you really just have to pick what works best for you. Okay, whether you're using reels, collabs, paying for shout outs, using influencers, just find the strategy that works best for you and make sure you are implementing the strategy, following the steps, optimizing, troubleshooting, and doing all of that properly. Okay. Additionally, we always want to understand our audience. What strategy also works best and resonates with our audience, and where do we find our audience for the lowest cost, the least amount of time and resources, for the maximum return, which is a lot of followers, right? And making sure your messaging is correct so that you're growing the right followers and you're promoting in the right place. Because yes, we can have our cake and eat it too. We can grow followers really fast and turn them into paying customers if we grow the right followers. So a lot of, we can have quality and quantity. All right. But really it just comes down to positioning yourself as the solution to their problems, the key to their desires, right? Positioning yourself as that expert, that authority, that know, like, trust. Creating valuable content. You don't have to post 10,000 times a day if you don't want to, unless you're using a certain strategy that calls for that. But in general, you just have to post that high value content because you know exactly what your followers need to be shifted, to be moved, to be transformed. So one piece of content can serve you all week, as long as you're bringing new eyes to that page, right? Engage and connecting conversation, right? Talking to people, actually building relationships. So there really is no single hack or cheat code. Okay, these growth strategies are going to get you what you need, but when it comes down to it, you got to make sure you're always sticking to the fundamental basics. Okay, you're growing a community of real people that have real problems and are looking for real solutions. Okay, so treat your business, treat your Instagram, treat your audience the way that you would help a friend that came to you and it's like, hey, I need this help. And you're like, okay, bet, I got you. Like, you're going all in. Put that same energy into your followers, that care, that attention, that respect. And consider that the fact that there really is a real person on the other side that wants your help, that's willing to make the energy exchange with you financially, right? So show up for that person, give value, and the rest will fall into place. Okay, so don't necessarily focus on the followers. Focus on the followers in the terms of the strategy, but focus on the fact that you have strategies that allow you to reach a wide audience so that you can serve and sell, so that you can change lives. Okay? So that's it for this lesson. If you have any questions about it, you already know, drop them in the discussion area or in the members only community, and I will see you in the next one.